Who know me know that I love music, and I started playing two instruments at a young age. I started learning how to read music around the age of 10, and then went on to play the flute and guitar. I really enjoy music, and it was a hard process in the beginning, but once you learn the basics, it becomes relatively simple. Most people think that reading music is difficult, and they think that it's really complicated, but really it just takes knowing some of the basic steps and knowing the basic terminology and the basic symbols involved in reading music. So today I'm just going to demonstrate how to read music and just basics to music. So at first you have the clef. This is a G clef, and there's also something called an F clef, but for today's purpose we're just going to use the G clef. It's also called a treble clef, but it's easiest to remember by a G clef because it looks like a G. And what a clef does is it states the pitch of the song. And then the next thing are the bar lines. And the bar lines are the vertical lines that you see, and they divide a staff into measures or bars. You'll also see the clef right there, the G clef, and then you'll also see it's kind of small, but it's 4/4, and that is the time signature, and that says how many counts are per bar or per measure in a song. And then you have the double lines at the end, which basically state that the song is over and it's finished. And now are learning the notes. And the easiest way to remember the notes are by face. For the notes between the lines, they are F, A, C, E, and they, like I said, it's easiest to remember by face. And then you have the notes that are located on the lines. And the easiest way to remember this is every good boy does fine, E, G, B, D, F. And then sometimes you'll see notes that are below the lines or above, which are just in a higher octave, and the notes just continue to repeat themselves. So they'll always be in that order. The next thing is learning about the different types of notes and the lengths. You have a whole note, which looks like a circle, and a whole note is 4 counts, and it looks like that. The next thing is a half note, which is right there. A half note is what it sounds. It's half a note, and so it's 2 counts. And then next to the half note you see a quarter note, which looks similar, but it is filled in. And basically this just states it's a quarter note and it gets 1 count. And then you have an eighth note. An eighth note looks similar to a quarter note, but it has a little squiggle at the top. And then when you combine eighth notes, they look like this. And then you'll also see 16th notes, 32nd notes, and so on. But for today's purpose, we're just going to use up to the 8th note because 16th notes and stuff like that are more advanced, and they're not going to be the first thing that you learn. And then the next thing you have in music is a rest. And a rest is basically what it sounds. It's when you rest and you don't play music. And you see this a lot, especially if you're playing with an orchestra. It's normal to see a lot of rests in the music that you're reading, because not all instruments play at one time. Some will rest for certain periods, some will play, some will rest, etc. And so that's why they use rests. And then, so this is the upside down hat, and it is a whole rest, and it gets 4 counts. And then the hat is a half rest, and it gets 2 counts. And then you have the quarter rest, which looks like just a sideways W or M, whichever one you prefer. And then you have the 8th rest, which just looks like a 7 with a dot on the end. And so those are the basic notes that you'll be most likely to see when you're just starting out. So what does this look like put all together? Okay, well, that would be 2 bars of music, and you have the clef, and you have the time signature, which is 4/4, and then you have 2 bars, and you see a whole note, and then you see two quarter notes, and then 4 eighth notes. And normally these notes would all be located on different lines because they probably wouldn't be the same note, but when you first start reading music, this is what you'll see. And so this would be an F. And so I'm going to clap it and count it, and that way you understand the basic rhythm and how you count the music. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and. So that's the basics, and once you learn those types of things, it gets really easy, and you get to where you can learn more complicated rhythms. And I hope that you've learned something about music today, and at least know the basic steps in learning how to read music. Thanks, and thanks for watching.